So it's looking like parents on TikTok this school year are asking teachers not only to teach their kids everything they need to know, but to also pay out of pocket for everything that they're going to need as well.
Y'all just lazy. Y'all on this complain about school supply. You want the teacher to raise the baby, teach the baby. You want the teacher to buy back school clothes too? Teachers already don't get paid. Y'all, I'm telling you the warehouse jobs make more than teachers sometime, and I'm not.
It is not our job to supply all other students with school supplies.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Imurgency and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to the school year. Yes, it is back to school season, our favorite time of year, where without fail, there's always some kind of discourse going on. Whether it's the fact that the kids are in fact not alright and not on grade level, whether or not teachers should be allowed to be filming TikToks in the classroom, to now where there seems to be some discourse and debate over who is footing the bill for school supplies. The parents, the teachers, the school district, or I don't know, the kids themselves. And this is a really hot button issue when it comes to back to school season because money is such a sensitive topic, especially in times like these where money is a little tighter and supplies that used to be deemed as commonplace and very lowbrow now quickly becoming semi-luxury. And I know times are hard and things are expensive. We talk about that all the time on this channel, but I do still think it is wild for parents to go and point the finger back at teachers for asking parents to provide school supplies for their kids, and to then go forward and expect that of the teacher themselves to provide that for your kid. Like in a perfect world, yes, it would make sense that you send your kid to school and the school provides everything for them. But as we are very aware, we are not living in anywhere near a perfect world. In fact, we're living in a world where schools are severely underfunded, understaffed, and teachers as it is are overworked and undercompensated. So yeah, to reiterate, it is wild for parents to provide essential supplies for their kids or just being stingy and weirdly controlling over the stuff that they do give out. But before we start casting judgment for real, let's try and understand where each side is coming from here. And let's first turn to the parents' POV. And I gotta say, the pain point for a lot of this discourse is understandable. In times where everyday expenses are expensive enough, it is frustrating to have to allocate budget every August or September to provide school supplies every single year for your kids. And God forbid you have multiple kids, the bill does add up. Like, let's not pretend school, even public school, is inexpensive. Like, sure, public school is free, aka your taxes pay for it, but that just lets you walk in the door. Like, in order to learn, you need some materials, some supplies so that you can take notes, read a book, do your homework, have something to carry your things in, something to lock your locker with. Like, there are many school supplies every year. Like, there is a real cost to going to school every year. And I think one of the main questions posed by parents, and honestly everyone, is why school supplies are so expensive right now. According to a report from Intuit Credit Karma aimed at parents with school-aged children, 39% of respondents said that they can't afford their back-to-school shopping this year. In the same survey, 44% of respondents said that they plan to go into debt to cover the cost of school shopping. Like I said, this is a serious issue for people, and in a time where people are struggling to afford rent or mortgage, or to consistently put food on the table for families, something that seemingly arbitrary expenses like school supplies kind of seem exactly that. Arbitrary, when I already feel like I'm drowning trying to keep myself and my kids afloat as it is. Like, on a base level, that sort of thinking is understandable. And no, you're not going crazy. Well, at least in this case, everything is getting more expensive. Shocker. I mean, not really. That's like not really news at this point if you've been paying attention. Prices have been on the incline for years at this point. And this year, parents and teachers alike have all been feeling it. Like, just to give perspective over how inflation is going right now, backpacks used to be $12 4 years ago. And now they're nearing $16. And that's just on the low end. Prices for things like pencils are going up. Lord knows the prices for tech like laptops, tablets, headphones, calculators, and the like are all going up, which is putting an even greater strain on consumers, namely parents. CNBC is reporting that many school supply categories are at least 20% more expensive than they were pre-pandemic. And again, having this come at a time where parents are struggling to make ends meet, either financially, temporally, or both, this combo is a recipe for disaster.
$226 divided by the 180 days that my baby's gonna be in school is $1.25 a day. And guess what? I went above and beyond on this list. She asked for 2 boxes of Kleenex. I'll get you 4. She asked for 1 ream of copy paper. Baby, don't worry, I got you 6. Then she had these wish list items. She wanted snacks, she wanted baby wipes, she wanted some small water and drinks for the kids. I am getting these teachers what they need, and I'm not labeling nothing, because if the teacher says she needs 3 glue sticks, she needs them 3 glue sticks plus some. And that is great. People are gonna go, oh, you want a cookie? No, my cookie is knowing that my child is gonna go to school, be well taken care of, and have the stuff that she needs for a successful school year. Wrap this conversation up.
So as a parent, seeing the school supply list that asks for things like 8 glue sticks, 3 to 4 packs of pencils, and other things that just seem like frivolous or excessive extra costs, I can see how it feels like you're being asked to foot a bill for stuff that you may feel like your kid doesn't necessarily need for their education. And we're gonna get more into why that is when we go to the teacher's POV. But I think before we do that, we do have to talk about why prices are the way they are. And unfortunately, this is where we get a little bit real. It's time to talk about the big orange and green elephant in the room. The tariffs. The recent tariffs set off by the current administration have been one of the main contributors to buyer fears and price increases. Most of the tariffs that have been scheduled to take place at some point during the month of August impact goods coming in from foreign countries. And preemptively, a lot of these distributors have been raising their prices to counteract the loss in profits from these tariffs. Again, in case no one's told you by now, the consumer pays the tariffs. I mean, not literally pays the tariffs, but is paying the difference in price. And also, unfortunately for us, a lot of our products, especially products pertaining to school supplies, are manufactured and produced and imported and from other countries. Like, think about your backpacks, your calculators, your writing supplies, all, if not at least some of the products in your technology are made from other countries, which means that as the tariffs go through, the prices for those increase as well. And technology especially will be seeing price increases this month, as tariffs on microchips coming in from other countries are astoundingly high. Like, it really does seem like on all levels, the last of everyone's money is being squeezed out right now, and that's just really unfortunate. But like I said, it's being squeezed out of everyone, including teachers. And that's sort of the whole point that teachers are trying to make in this whole conversation. Personally, I'm never in the business of blaming teachers or educators, just in general, unless they are doing like some illegal and egregious stuff. Because a lot of times for 9 months out the year, they gotta put up with people's kids more than the people have to put up with their kids. And in the grand context of the argument that people are having right now of like, okay, I'm not paying for all these school supplies, why isn't the teacher paying for the school supplies for our kids? Well, actually, they already are. Actually, around 90% of public school teachers buy their school supplies out of pocket, which can total as much as $500. Like, this includes backup supplies for students, classroom decorations, snacks, toiletries, whatever would have you, to make the classroom experience as engaging as possible. And when you take into account the fact that the average starting public school teacher salary is around $46,000 a year, that is a pretty significant amount of money going out of their paycheck.
So I know we're past this conversation because nobody's talking about it, but I just want to say how irritated I am at the parents who don't give school supplies. My mom, for the 10th, 12th year in a row, is sending out an Amazon wish list to all the family members so they can give supplies to our students.
So what these teachers in schools are asking of parents to provide are the things in addition to that to make sure that your individual student is taken care of. Like, sure, teachers might have maybe a handful of school supplies to give out as needed if a kid forgets or doesn't have supplies that day, but that's not going to sustain everybody for the entire school year. Like, you need your own supplies. And specifically in the context of this discourse, teachers have been receiving a lot of flack from asking so much of parents to provide for the class. Lists have gone viral online asking for things like 8 glue sticks, multiple boxes of tissues, and multiple packs of pencils, etc., etc.
Like a fun rug, a cool rug on the ground for him, nothing. I'm just praying that by Tuesday there's a little bit more fun.
An interesting bunch, because wasn't it so long ago that you guys were on this app complaining that school supplies were so expensive, you guys were not going to be getting extras, and that teachers essentially had to figure it out? And now you're coming onto the very same app and complaining that classrooms look boring, that there's no cute rugs. That's the deal breaker for you guys? Rug? Not having a cute rug? Not the school supplies.
And here's the thing. I think there's valid concern for parents to be like, girl, why does my kid need 8 glue sticks for the year? But then you have to realize, especially for the younger years, kids are kids and will either lose or dry out their glue and other materials.
So the parents are online crashing out about school supplies again, like they do every year. And so I am here to show you that you actually don't have to spend $500 on notebooks, pencils, and paper, okay? Some of your school supply lists end up so expensive because you're allowing your 6-year-old to tell you that they refuse to carry anything except for a $175 book bag. So between Walmart and Dollar Tree, you know how much my total was? Do you know what the total was? $46.82. Go get the damn baby's school supplies.
Like, I think a major oversight in this conversation is the fact that, like, these lists that teachers are making aren't just arbitrarily thrown together. Like, teachers are teachers for a reason. They've been in the field for a number of years, so they generally have an idea for the brands that work the best and last the best, as well as which supplies students tend to lose, forget, break, whatever would have you throughout the school year. So a lot of times the school supply list is a suggestion for like everything that you're gonna need for the entire year. Whether or not you're paying for it all up front right now or paying for it throughout throughout the school year as your kid loses stuff, as your kid breaks stuff, whatever would have you. This is the general list for how many supplies a student goes through in this class or in this school for a school year, based on the numbers and observations of the past years. And I think this is a part of the conversation that like people aren't really acknowledging. Like nothing is going to happen for like, at least generally, if you don't have every single thing to the exact quantity during the school year. Like your kid just needs enough to get by for the time being. And if you need to buy more school supplies later, you can do that. The list is just a list of all the things that they're going to need ever. And again, it's not fair to ask teachers to pay for that because they're already paying a lot for your kid. They're already doing a lot for your kid. And teachers in this case aren't the issue. The common denominator here and the issue here, y'all aren't gonna like this, I'm sorry. This is the quiet part that no one wants to say out loud, but this really isn't a teacher versus parent debate. It's the current education system versus the government and capitalism.
It is not our job to supply all other students with school supplies. We pay taxes for that. The schools should be funded to supply pencils and erasers and construction paper. Why are we supplying 4 boxes of tissues, 2 cans of Lysol spray? Like,
And now I know this is where I lose a lot of people, I'm sorry. Neither parents or teachers are fully in the right or wrong, because at the end of the day, the needs for both of them just aren't being met by these systems they are a part of, and are both stemming from the common issues of the lack of money and resources provided to them in their community. Like neither parents or teachers are provided what is actually needed for a comfortable and productive school, work, or family environment. Your average parent and teacher aren't making enough, prices for things are getting too high, and school systems by and large are just generally underfunded to provide for the students themselves outside of free meals. And even then, that's a stretch for some school systems and is actively being fought against. Like this is 100% an education issue as much as it is a money issue. Because as we all know, the state of education is already not the best. And the kids are actively not all right in terms of the quality of what they're learning and what they're able to learn. It just really seems like our country is committed to making getting a base level of education one of the most difficult things ever. I wonder why that might be. Like I've been saying before, school systems are drastically underfunded. Teachers aren't allowed to fail their kids for real and have to pass them on from grade to grade, whether or not they're actually on grade level or not. Teachers are dealing with increasingly large class sizes to the point where it's not conducive or sustainable to actual genuine learning. There are increasing restrictions over what students are able to learn, read, and do. And as we're seeing right now, it is more difficult to get a base level of actual school supplies that are required to get a solid education. And this isn't even addressing the behavioral and interpersonal issues that stem from schools these days from the students themselves. I do have a couple of videos talking about that specifically if you want to check out conversations around that. But I really think the most important part of this conversation and the unfortunate real losers from all this at the end of the day are these students. And I really hate to be but think of the children as but like, let's be for real. We can debate all day long, but at the end of the day, these students are the most important part of this conversation and are the ones that are going to be dealing with the consequences of whatever action comes out of all this. Like if students aren't getting the supplies that they need, they're not going to be able to learn. And enthusiasm for school and for learning from students right now is already reaching all-time lows, and truly anything that disincentivizes the easy access to education for students is going to drastically hurt the chances of that kid learning. Like I said, most grade school level kids aren't on a reading level as is. Like just as one example case, you have education scores in Florida hitting 20-year lows. And honestly, I don't know if anyone's really looking at Florida as being the leader in education for the country, but like this all tells a story. We're currently in an education crisis in this country, and students really do need all the help that they can get. And this isn't necessarily an issue that can be fixed overnight because unfortunately we can't just change the prices of things with the snap of a finger, but what we can do is adapt and try our best to provide for the next generation of learners. Whether that means sharing school supplies between friends that are going to the same school, buying discount versions of supplies that are on supply lists, reusing supplies from previous years, reusing clothes from previous years, or just generally scaling back on what's needed and only purchasing what the student needs for however many weeks or months and continuously re-upping instead of making a bulk purchase all at once. And it's finally time for me to hit the unique community button for this video because it's really time that we lean on each other and not go for each other's throats. Like parents, please, we can find ways to be creative. If you think you're tired and at your wit's end, imagine how tired teachers are. While you're at work working away for your kids, teachers are also at work with your kids. And just as a final thing, I'll leave some links in my description to some resources for different funds, grants, and things like that either you or someone you may know can apply for to help with school supplies or just affording school, whether that be for parents, educators, or college students. So yeah, be sure to check that out in the description below. I just gotta say, at the end of the day, it is the teacher's job to make sure that your kid is getting a fruitful education. However, it's not their job to play sugar parent.